What's up, guys? Welcome back. I am here with my friend Serge Luca. What's going on, Serge? How you been?
I'm fine, thank you. Hello, everybody.
Good. So Serge is here today, and he is going to teach us business process management with the Power Platform. You've seen some of this before. Serge has alluded to these things in other videos and shown you bits and pieces along with State Machine, but today he's going to show you a full layout of how he does BPM. So Serge, why don't you go ahead, take it away. First off, introduce yourself and then go ahead and talk to us about what you are going to teach us today.
Okay, so John, if you want, I will share my screen, right?
Go for it. Yes, sir.
Okay, so what I want to talk about is, well, I've called it Power Platform BPM Toolkit. But first, I will introduce myself. So I'm Dr. Flow, and some people still call me Serge.
They do.
Sorry?
It's changing. It's changing.
It's changing, yes. It's changing a bit, yes. I'm MVP in Office 365 and also MVP in business application. So my heart is in both products, both platforms. And I'm also the author of Power Automate in a Day, that you know, John.
I did know that. I don't know if they knew that, but I knew that.
Yeah. And I'm based in Brussels. So I have a company called Power Platform Associate with another MVP, Isabel, who is an MVP in the data platform. So she's the data specialist. And what we do in this company is we provide consulting on the Power Platform. So we have a concept that we call a Power Platform Factory 2020, where we guide companies to make use of the Power Platform for citizen developer or for creating a complex enterprise application. Okay, so basically, we provide guidance on IT governance and strategy, tenant administration. We teach courses, so learning the platform. We show how to adopt the platform. Security as well is very important. And we have enterprise architecture. And in enterprise architecture, one of the most important components of enterprise architecture is the BPM, business process management. And this video is in the context of BPM, right?
Yep.
So, and BPM is maybe not very clear to you, but BPM means business process. So for instance, when you create an approval, it's already a first kind of BPM. But in many cases, when you want to do a task or to perform a task on action, it actually takes several steps, not just one. And the whole process, the whole workflow is very important. And companies want to be able to manage the whole workflow, not just one specific task. Okay?
Yep.
But creating a BPM tool is something which is very complex and it's very expensive. But many problems in companies can be seen as a case. It's a case. That means there is a case that is created and the case goes through a life cycle. And at the end, the case is solved. So we want to manage the whole process. So I've defined something that I call a case management pattern. You remember, John, in the past, I did propose the controller pattern. So the follow-up of the controller pattern, case management pattern.
Okay.
In case management, approval are very important, but there's more than approval. For instance, if you ask someone to give feedback, it's not an approval, it's just a feedback. It could be a positive feedback or negative feedback. It's not an approval. It's the person say, it's no, maybe you can go to the next step. The whole workflow is not stopped. So It's a bit more complex than this. And I've noticed, because my favorite product, which is Power Automate, well, in Power Automate, approval are fine for citizen development, but not enough. They're too limited for business process management. And that's why I've created a free and an open source reference implementation that I will illustrate right now. So what I'm going to show you is a proof of concept. And later on, I will create something which is more generic and I will share it for free, of course. So just let's take a specific case that I recently had to solve for a customer. An HR request. So there are many types of HR requests and they can be very, very complex. So example, in my customer, there are 70 types of HR requests. And each HR request can follow different kind of workflow depending on the type of request. And the whole approval process can take up to 1 year. Some can take 1 day, 1 hour. Others can take 1 year. If you take a leave request, you say, I want to take a 5-month leave request. After 4 months, you can say, I want to extend it. So that means the request take more than 4 months, right? So you should be able to still work on your request. So your request is still pending. Also, what I've noticed is that supervisors, like HR officer, for instance, and also user want to see the next step. What is the next step? What happens if I approve? Who will have to approve? What will happen if I put a comment in the process? Will my manager will see the comment? Will the director of the company will see the comment? So people want some kind of clarity around the whole process. So people want to have a dashboard where they can monitor the whole process. I mean, they want to see everything. And they can say, I want to stop this one. I want to start this one. I want to redirect this one. This one take too long. So we want a high-level view of what's going on. And if you take a case of a leave request, it can be very complex because a leave request for medical reason can go first, should be validated by a doctor. So you need to provide some medical information to the doctor. So it's highly confidential. And then the legal department can check if your leave request is a right or just an option. If it's a legal right, well, you should get it, right? And then it can be validated by your line manager. And then it can go to another line manager. For instance, if this leave request comes from someone in Paris, it will be validated by HR in Paris, and then by the supervisor in Paris, and then by supervisor in Brussels, and then validated by the director in Brussels. So it can be very complex. And then sometimes you may have to go back to other steps. Okay, so this is a normal business requirement. And actually that's very complicated to do with Power Automate. But it was until recently. So if you get back to the Power Automate approval, the out-of-the-box approval that you know and that you love, right? It works like this. So let's say, to take a simple case, you have an array of approvers, okay? So variable approvers with 10 approvers, for instance. You want every person in this array to approve. So you can create a loop like this, apply to each people in this array, and then you can create an approval, wait for an approval. You know that by splitting this in 2 steps, actually, this one will generate code for adaptive card. You can send that to Teams. Mm-hmm. You can brand it. That's very nice. That's absolutely cool, right? And then you wait for approval. Then you in a switch, you check if it was approved, if it was canceled or rejected, and you go to the next step. So that works very well. There is one issue here, which is that if you do this, you need to know that the flow cannot run for more than 30 days. So if you want to keep it simple, you can just have a write branch here in parallel, and you check every day if you don't reach 28. And at 28, you just notify that, hey, we are almost too late, so do something, right? So that works. But, and when you send an approval to someone, the person receives something like this, okay? An email. You can click on approve, reject, that's cool. And when you click on approve, you get a field, you can put a comment, submit, and that works. And also you have a dashboard with approvals. You can get back, you can see the approval history, etc. Mm-hmm. That's fine for a citizen developer, but we want more than that because there's some issue with this. And this issue will probably be fixed in the future. The issue is, I mentioned that before, is that flow duration is maximum 30 days. And I mentioned before that an HR request can take up to 1 year. An approval also 30 days. You cannot easily cancel a flow. So you can cancel an approval, but how can you cancel the whole workflow? The step before and stop the step after, right? If your flow is already running in a loop, you cannot easily cancel it, right? Also, in the canceling of an approval, only the approval requester can do it. So if the request is sent on behalf of Mr. X, only Mr. X can cancel this approval, right? Someone, you want other people to be able to cancel that. You want all staff to be able to cancel that.
Yep.
HR staff, for instance. So if you want to be able to cancel a flow in code, you need to create a custom connector. And there are some limitations as well. But creating a custom connector means that you need premium license. Some people can buy it, other people cannot, right? So let's talk about redirecting an approval. Redirecting an approval means you redirect your approval to someone else. So that means technically you start working on a state machine, you go to another state. So that's important. But in Power Automate, only the user can redirect the request. Okay? What we want is, we want the supervisor, the officer, to be able to redirect any kind of HR request. So, and also, let's say you get an approval and you are sick for 2 weeks. What will happen? All the workflow will be pending. I mean, you're going to be a bottleneck. So you need to be able to delegate your task to someone else, and not just you. Supervisors, like your manager or HR officer, should be able to say, Mr. X is in holiday or Mr. X is sick. I want all his pending tasks and future tasks between this week and that week to be redirected to another person. That's normal business, right? And we cannot do that with Power Automate. So you can redirect. There are many limitations. You need to create a custom connector, and it's still very limited. So my point is, well, actually, if you follow this pattern, what I've called a case management pattern, it will work. And the idea is the following. Use Flow, use Power Apps, but don't use the Power Automate. Well, when I say use Flow, I mean use Power Automate, right? But don't use the Power Automate approval for this kind of thing. The idea is you need 2 lists or 2 tables. In the first table, you will store the request, an HR request. Each HR request can be stored in this list. It could be a SharePoint list, it could be a CDS entity, it could be a SQL Azure table. And for each request, the life cycle of the case will be stored in another list or another table or another CDS entities, whatever you use, that we call a case lifecycle. So example here, step 1 will be managed by first HR officer, and then step 2, and then step 3. You have a new case, then step 1, step 2, step 3. Another case in red here, step 1, step 2, step 3. So you just need 2 lists. And this solves everything. You will see. We'll see why I did it. Well, let's take a look at how that works.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool.
Because we have a long dream. Since the beginning of Power Automate, we want to be able to create state machine. We want to be able to manage all this stuff in a nice way. Remember that, John? That's our dream, right?
That's
Now you'll see what we've done.
all right. Cool.
Okay, so this is a proof of concept, right? And this is a SharePoint site. I use a SharePoint site, but actually in the real world, people use just apps. They never see SharePoint. The information here is stored in SharePoint. Everything is stored in SharePoint, but you just interact with the app, okay? So, and let's say someone created an HR request. In this case, it's a very simple request. So you want to go to a city, you want to visit a city, and the city is Roma in Italy. And in this workflow, there are more complex workflow, but I'm going to take a very simple one. You want this expense to be validated by a set of users. This guy, okay, so four person. And then, well, actually 5 person, right? So 5, yes, 5. I'm the first one here. And you click on submit. So your expense, your request has been submitted, and it will go through a lifecycle. That means it has been stored in one list, in this case, a SharePoint list, and then it will go to a lifecycle. You will see exactly what I mean. But John, if you go to the dashboard, you are HR officer or you are user. You should be able to follow all processes, all workflows, all cases. And actually, this is dashboard. You see, this is the dashboard. And in this dashboard, you can see different type of workflow, all cases, all the workflow that have been approved, all the workflow that are in waiting mode, all workflow in rejected, all workflow that are stopped. Example, Toronto. There was a request for Toronto. This one is still running. It has been submitted to this guy. It's in green, so it has been approved. And then it switched to this guy. He approved because it's in green, and then he switched to this guy. It's orange. It's still waiting here. And the next step, which is not yet done, is this guy. So the workflow is waiting here. So if you click on waiting, you will see all the business process that are in waiting mode. And you see, the one I've just created, Roma, is there. It's running. And you know that you can see here, graphically, can you see that, John?
I see it.
You can see
that's good. Looks good, yeah.
Yeah, the first user is Serge Luca. The second one is user 1. It's in gray. That means this will be the next one. And then user 2, user 3, etc. Right? You can even search here across every process. What do you want to search? What is your favorite city in Europe, John?
My favorite city in Europe is Zurich.
Oh, Zurich. And after Zurich, let's see if there is
Amsterdam. After Zurich, Amsterdam.
Okay, let's see if there is a... maybe in all cases. Oh, yes, there was an expense on Amsterdam.
Okay.
It's been approved.
Good, that's good. That's good.
But actually, we created one on Roma, you remember? It is running, it is waiting for someone to approve. So how can we interact with this guy? Just click here, and then we can work, well, as HR officer, we can take a look at, we can interact with this, this business process. And this is the workflow, you see? Look, we are here. So the process is waiting for this guy to approve. That means this guy has probably get an email. So let's take a look at this email because I'm this guy, so I can access the mailbox. Look at this. There was a notification here. So it does not look like the out-of-the-box approval because the out-of-the-box approval in Power Automate is too limited. We want to do more. We want full branding. So if you see, this is the email I got. If I click here, you get our dream, which is task forms. Look at that. That's a task form, fully branded task form with your company logo. Everything is branded. You get all the details. And you know what, John?
What?
You have to approve, and you want to know, before approving, before putting your comment, like this. Let's put a comment. Before clicking on approve, you want to check who's next in the workflow. You can click here, show graph, click there, and you can navigate through the flow. I'm this guy, and the next one is user 1. Where is my boss in there? No. So I can put a joke there if I want. See? Okay, so let's close this. So it's fine for me. I'm Serge, so it's fine for me. Let's go to the business process. It will, you see, now it's green. Serge did approve. And even better, we have a, you see this sign means there is a comment.
Yeah.
The user can put a document, can put an attachment, one or several attachments. If there is an attachment, you can see the attachment. But here you see the comment. I will put more metadata here, but you can see the comment.
Yep.
And also this guy approved. That means the workflow switched to this guy. So the workflow is waiting here. You see the clock here.
Yep.
Okay. So
this is a Power App. This is a Power App right here.
Yeah, it's a Power App.
Okay.
That
nice.
analyzes the flow. You see. So now I'm the HR officer. So I'm working on the workflow, and actually I say, oh, the user 1 is in holiday. I mean, what should I do? I mean, it's holiday. Well, there are different possibilities. I can skip this step. I can go to the next one, or I can reassign to another user. You can even add a new step. You can say, hey, oh, I forgot user 5. I mean, it was supposed to be in the workflow. I want to add user 5. So first, let's say I want to skip this step. It can take several seconds. If you buy a premium license, it's instant.
It's faster.
If you don't have a premium license, you have to wait a few seconds, right? That's the only difference. So let's wait a little bit, because normally the system automatically refresh, but since we are in a demo, I want to go faster. So you will see in a few seconds, user 2 should become in waiting mode. If I go to the dashboard, where's the Roma? Roma is there. Let's refresh the dashboard. You can see, oh yeah, it's already orange there. Let's go there, refresh. Yeah, user 2 is there, right? Now you can say, hey, I want to reassign that to another user. Reassign that to this guy. User 5, yeah, I should be able to type and to retrieve the email automatically, but oh, I haven't done that yet. Let's say user 5. Yeah, click on confirm. So user 2 should become user 5, right? So user 5 will get an email as well. You see? Now if I refresh, hey, it's user 5, right? Oh. So that works.
Nice.
Let's say now you forget a user. You say, oh, I did forget to add Mr. Bean. I want to add Mr. Bean here. Let's add a new step after user 5. Otherwise, he will be very angry. So let's put user 7. After this one, yes, after this one. Look, John, you have a dynamic workflow. Your workflow is a living creature. User 7 is there. Isn't that wonderful?
That's crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy. Your workflow is running, right? So let's say now, because I want to prove you that it works. I'm here. I want to get back there. Oh, that means I want to redirect this guy to this guy because I need some additional information. So you want to go there where? Step 0. This is step 0. I want to go to step 0. Click confirm. It's working. I mean,
I heard the email ding.
You get the email, right? So Serge is waiting. Is an email, right? So that works. Isn't that cool?
That's crazy. That cool? Yeah.
Isn't that our dream state machine?
That's awesome.
I'm still there. I mean,
wow.
No,
you did this all in SharePoint. This is all powered by SharePoint.
All the data is stored in SharePoint. It's SharePoint, Power Automate, and Power Apps. I will show you all that works behind.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested to see how this works now because I'm like.
No, you can say, I'm the HR officer. I want to stop the workflow.
Okay.
Here, and look.
Workflow is stopped.
And that's not it. It's black.
Interesting.
If you go to the dashboard, you will see it's black. I mean, it's black. It's black. If I go to the stop workflow, Roma is black.
Stop Roma, nice.
Yeah, and then let's say I want to remove this all. You see, it stop here. I want to remove the whole workflow because I don't want to see it anymore. Remove that. So it's removed. If you go to the dashboard, you won't see Roma anymore. You won't see the Roma anymore. You see all cases. So it's.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
That's pretty crazy. Yeah. I'm still wondering how this all works. And the fact that it's built on SharePoint is kind of crazy to me. Because
crazy, actually.
There's got to be some relational information happening somewhere. And yes. So I'm curious as to like, you built your own relationships between lists?
So John, do you want to organize another demo to see how it works, or do you want to see it right now?
Let's see it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just one thing, to use this, to use this, you don't need any premium license. right? So you don't have to pay anything.
Well, you have to pay your
SharePoint, that's it.
Office subscription.
Just your Office 365 subscription.
Yeah.
If you want more, of course, you can buy premium feature. You can buy CDS because it's more scalable. And also the CDS security model is different. There are benefits of doing that, but you can start from this. I mean, and now I will show you how that works. So let's close this because I want it to be simple. I want it to be simple. And let's go to powerapps.com and in the solution, so I have one solution. I've called that Approval Factory. So it's going to be BPM Factory in the future.
Okay.
And that is one thing. First, I need to show you the data structure also. We'll get back to the solution. I have two lists here. Well, actually, I have three lists. The first is the one where you store the cases. So let's take a look at that. You see?
Okay.
So for instance, Roma should be somewhere. Yeah, Roma is there. You see? That's the list for the case. Of course, you might need model properties. For each case, you have one dedicated list, right? Or one entity in CDS. If you want to use CDS, it's actually exactly the same. So that's for the cases. And the second list is the case lifecycle. Let's take a look at the case lifecycle. So for each case, this is the case number. You have a column steps. So you can see the steps. You can see the status for each step. You can get the comment. You can get attachment. You can see who is in charge of the steps. You see?
Okay.
And I have a third list, which is the workflow trace, which is for each case. So for each workflow, I have a global status. You see?
I see.
I know exactly if it's running, if it's rejected, if it's, you see? And that's what I'm using to display things in the dashboard.
And so now this is going to be populated by the flow. The flow is going to create all this info.
Now I will show you the flows.
Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll show you the flows.
Okay.
So I have two main flows. I have a flow that I call the case generator. So when you put a new case in the case list, the case generator starts, and basically the case generator generates the workflow, generate the step in the lifecycle list. So the workflow is not flow. The workflow is actually the steps in the list. So you can see that as a meta workflow, a meta flow. You see, the workflow is in the data.
Yeah.
And I've called that case init, but if you take a look at that, well, you see when an item is created in the list, in which list? In the case list, then basically, yeah, I load delegation because someone can delegate its task to another user, right? But I fetch the approvers, I initialize a workflow, and here I generate the steps. That's where I generate the steps for each approver. I create a step in the list of steps. And you see, John, these things here will become a dedicated workflow because this is fine for the kind of workflow I show you, which is you ask a set of people to approve in serial. So it's pretty basic case. It's the most popular case. But what we want is we may have to deal with different type of workflows. So you should be able to create your independent workflow and to hook up your own custom workflow in there.
So you have a flow generating other flows.
I generated a set of steps and the flow just execute the step.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
And so this, because this is version 1, it's a proof of concept, but this one will become another flow. Will be moved in another flow, and you can create your own, depending on your type of algorithm you want to use, you can hook up the thing. And then you start for the first approver, and then the second main flow is case lifecycle. What happens if there is a new approver? a new approval, request, rejection, etc. This start. So if something new happened in the approval list, this start. However, you should not start all the time. You should start only if it's approved, if the new information, if the status is approved or the status is rejected, or if it's cancelled or skipped or something like that. You see, so there is a trigger, that trigger filter. And then voila, I mean, the system check and execute your steps. So this is very, very generic, and actually it's very simple. It's very simple. That's the point. It's simple. I will explain that in a blog post. You see, find next step. If no next step, do something. Set the work. There's no next step anymore. Then set the workflow. It's done. Everybody have approved. Do something. Or there is another step. Then go to the next step. You see. So this is the second flow that I will explain later with more details.
Okay.
And now, John, remember to cancel a workflow or to redirect a workflow, the only option that we have today in out of the box is to create custom connector. Right? So I don't have custom connector. I don't want to do that. First, that means people need to buy premium. Second, it's too complicated. You don't not easily associate code with that. So for each action, I have a different flow. Look, you want to skip or reassign. That's a flow. You want to stop the case, or that's another flow. You want to remove the case. That's another flow. You want to redirect to another state machine. That's another dedicated flow. You see?
Interesting. And then what's the master to kind of call in these? Is it the app that's then mastering all these various flows, or is it another flow?
It's just the flow. You put in information in the list, a flow is triggered. And the second life cycle analyze information. So there's no master that start anything. It runs, it's a standalone, it's automatic.
I see. So they're all independent.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
They are very scalable. There's no limitation in time. They can run 10 years if you want.
Huh.
There's
very interesting.
No limitation at all. So I've bypassed all the limitation in the task form, the state machine, redirection, well, everything. I mean, because Flow or Power Automate is a very, very powerful tool, especially when associated with Power Apps. Now I can show you, for instance, the approval flow or the dashboard. What do you want to see? The dashboard.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's look at the apps a little bit.
Okay, let's look at the apps. So here, I have a screen. And in my screen, I have a gallery. Okay? And in the gallery, I have another gallery. So each workflow is a gallery. So it's a gallery in a gallery. You see? So I check the status of, let's go there. You see the circle?
Yeah.
I check the status of item. The color is depend on the status. I mean, so it's actually very simple.
Okay.
And these are my KPIs. You see KPI. You see the number of cases, that all cases. There are 5 approved, 6 waiting, etc. So I mean, this is quite simple. Search as well. I mean, so let's take a look at the task form.
Yeah. Okay. Man, I'm blown away by this. It's crazy. I like how you've rebuilt our entire system with our tools.
Yeah, that's scary. Huh?
Yeah.
I use your own tools.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, for instance, the task form. Yeah, I've called that approve reject, but it's more than approve reject because sometimes you cannot approve reject. Sometimes it's just putting feedback. So, let me show you this form. Okay, this is my task form, you see? And this is so of course, the state depends on the status of the approval. If it's already approved, this will be great, right? So for instance, if you click on graph, show graph, you remember?
Yep.
So the graph will be visible. What is the graph? The graph is this guy. here. It's a gallery that displays your steps. I didn't name that correctly because I'm going to do that in the generic version, but you see?
Nice. Man, okay. Galleries inside of galleries, displaying each flow as a separate piece, displaying each column as a separate piece. Man, this took you a lot of time to think through.
No, actually, no, it doesn't. It didn't
No, not to put together, but to I can imagine how much time it took to think through stitching all of this together, right? To think of all of your prereqs and what needs to go in the lists, to think of how the app will power these flows, to think of how it all gets displayed. I think, it's a marvel in how you've actually used all of the pieces of the platform and tied them together like this. Now, I can tell by looking at it, once you had your plan, it probably wasn't that hard to go and make, which is the beauty of this.
I was surprised by myself because it was very easy. We should have done that 2 years ago. I mean, we had everything to do that. To be honest, what was missing was child flow. Child flow is very important, but because now I need to make that more generic, because I want to talk about the roadmap of this thing.
Okay, what you're doing next?
Yeah, exactly. So I have many things on my plate, and so first, this is a proof of concept because I have a customer, and my customer use PeopleSoft. They have PeopleSoft, and they want to move away from PeopleSoft. It's a big company, and they asked me to do this in SharePoint. So I mean, they didn't want to buy premium license, so I had to find a way to solve the issue. That's why I did this.
Gotcha.
On my free time, by the way. Yeah, otherwise the project would stop. And so first I want it to be free. So I want it to be open source, so it will end up in GitHub. So anyone should be able to use the clean generic version that I'm going to do now.
Nice. So you're going to, well, hold on real quick. Let's not move on from that. You're going to generalize this and give it away?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Awesome. That's great news. I love that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean,
very cool.
Yeah. So also when you think about the case pattern, case management, by default, there are many analytics that you need to provide by default. You need to know how many cases you have, what cases are pending, how long it took to do the whole process, every process, who is a bottleneck in the chain, right? So you need to improve your business process. So there are some basic analytics that you need to provide. So we will provide that. And for this, Isabel will work with me. Also, you've seen that I can redirect to a previous step. So technically it's state machine, right?
Yeah. I mean, not truly, but it works that way, right?
It works that way. That means basically technically you want to go to another step, right? So
and you can.
Basically you go from one state to another state.
Yeah.
But true. I want that to be visible in the graph. I want to see the redirection, the picture. Huh? So that's something I'm going to work on.
Okay.
Also, I want to work on the RACI. That means the responsibility assignment matrix. You need to define roles. Who can see what? Who can interact with the dashboard? Who can act on the dashboard? So a responsibility assignment matrix should be defined.
Gotcha.
Also, some customers want me to use CDS instead of SharePoint list. Anyway, I will provide a bridge to CDS. If they want to use SQL Azure, they can as well.
Yeah.
Then that means they have to buy premium license.
You know what? Wherever your data lives, you should get to use Power Automate.
Exactly. Power Automate is key for everything.
That's right.
It's the glue for everything.
That's right.
Security model is also very important because someone put a HR request in the case list. So only this person and the manager can see this information. But then
that's what we want.
Lifecycle, exactly, in the lifecycle, not everyone can see anything. I mean, only some people, few people. So we need to assign, you need to associate that with the security model.
Okay.
There are different types of workflow. The one I show you is a serial workflow, but you might have different type of workflow. So extension point. So you should be able to create your workflow and to hook it up to the system. So workflow generator. Compliance, because we need to put an audit trace on everything. If you want it to be used in big companies, everything should be compliant. So compliance is very important.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be more generic, so more parameterized. So for instance, you can say, yeah, when a workflow is waiting, I want the color to be blue, for instance, instead of orange. I mean, you need to be able to define that without having to change the code. That's a simple example, but there are many other things like this. I want to minimize human approval because, I mean, sometimes you ask too many people to approve or reject.
Well, I mean, the reality is oftentimes approvals don't make your business more efficient. They make it less efficient, right? The less approvals you have, the more quickly you can move. But especially now there's a tipping point, obviously, but that's pretty much the rule.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when the person that need to approve is in holidays.
Yeah, or lazy.
So it has an impact. It has an impact. That's why you can redirect. You can delegate your task to another person. So I want to use machine learning to bypass some approval. Mm-hmm. Machine should be able to say, hey, this guy always approved. Oh, I will skip this guy. It's approved. Mm-hmm. I will approve for him. So I want also to alert supervisor, because if something strange happens, example, if all the flow are in waiting state for the same person, that's something unusual. So there is something unusual. So you need to be able to provide some intelligence. So I want to alert the staff.
Mm-hmm. Tell this person to move their ass.
Yeah, move your ass or delegate to someone else or do something. Yeah. And also, you need to be able to have stages running in parallel. I want to see parallel stages and with connection point between these things running in parallel.
Nice.
Right, so that's in the roadmap.
Okay.
And much, much more, John.
That's a big roadmap, man.
Yeah, so that's it.
Awesome. Awesome.
So
okay.
Wow. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Okay, let me wrap this up a little bit. Yeah. So, okay, so what I saw here is a completely encapsulated Office solution that will cost you nothing above your current Office subscription. It's all powered by SharePoint on the back end. It's visualized and controlled with apps. It has a bunch of flows doing a bunch of things. And what I really want people to get across from this is two things. One, Serge is going to open source this. It will be on GitHub. We'll put it in the community. You'll be able to download this and play with it. But in the meantime, though, what I really hope is that you see the possibilities. I hope that it opens your mind to, like, hey, wait a second. I've been thinking about this too small. I can orchestrate much bigger things. And what Serge did here is he did the free version, but you can actually simplify your life too if you want to pay some money. There is CDS, which gives you all of this data structure out of the box. There is business process flows, which give you many of these stages and things that Serge is breaking down. There's a lot of technology that's already in the stack that will give you some of what's been built here with less effort. And so if spending dollars instead of effort is your way, take a look at some of those things. But if effort is your way, then Serge has given you an awesome way forward here on what's possible and how you can kind of look at these pieces to put something like this together. What do you think, Serge? Was that a good wrap up?
That's a good wrap up. Can I say something?
Please.
Yeah. There are many features here that you don't have in BPF yet.
Yes, that's true. It's on its way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Cool.
That's about it. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Serge. Really appreciate you being here today. For you guys at home, go ahead and check the description. I'll have links for Serge there, his Twitter, his blog. Be sure and follow him. Also, go and check out Flow in a Day if you haven't already. He's got that up on GitHub. He's working on a new version. And yeah, click like, click subscribe, hit that bell so that you don't miss any more awesome videos from us. And that's it. Much love. We'll see you in the next one.